it's just really important that people have both the reality and the perception that they are able to speak freely within the bounds of the law.
Well, that was Elon Musk this afternoon at a TED Talk following his offer to buy Twitter in an all-cash deal worth over $40 billion. In his letter to Twitter's chairman of the board, Musk stated that since making his initial investment in Twitter, he has realized that the company will neither thrive nor serve as a platform for free speech in its current form, and that Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company. Of course, the offer comes just days after Elon declined the invitation to join Twitter's board. So where does this all lead, and will Twitter accept? We're waiting to find out. Joining us now to discuss all this and break it down is YouTube sensation Meet Kevin. Kevin, welcome back to the show. I'm excited to get your intake on this because this is a pretty generous offer from Elon, up from market value here. Do you think the board will decline it?
I think they have to decline it, but I think they should counteroffer. Look, I'm from the real estate industry. We all know that deals are never best and final. Even though Elon said that, send a counter, but don't say no. And I think this is a great thing for society. In fact, I wanted to thank you because the last time I was on your show, we talked about DWAC and we supported free speech then. I was worried about its valuation, down about 48% since then, but I'm worried now more that if we don't restore free speech to Twitter, Facebook, countries like China will end up crushing our democracy.
Twitter closed today at about $45.18, which is about a 1.5 down. Elon tweeted out a poll earlier today that it said taking Twitter private at $54.20 should be up to the shareholders, not the board. I'm a little out of my element here, so this is what I don't understand. Does the board have the ultimate say, or do the shareholders? Because it seems to me on its face, that's a pretty good deal.
It does. Yeah, it's a great deal for the shareholders, but the executives and board members don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to lose their stock options and their stock-based compensation. They also don't want everyone at Twitter to get fired, so they have to balance the employees and their pay and shareholder needs, and that's what they're debating now. The biggest thing they're probably debating is what's known as a poison pill, and the best way to think about this is sort of like if you're a spy and you get captured in Russia, say, you might take a pill so that you can't get captured, right? It's very similar in companies. What you could do is you could create a stock plan so that potentially you give certain members substantially more voting power than others. Like maybe the existing CEO has 1,000 times the votes that a normal shareholder might, or whatever. Usually shareholders hate that, though, because it robs control from them. And this is why Elon Musk is brilliant. He's already preempting them on Twitter by posting on Twitter, if the board does something that's not in the shareholders' interest, they will open up a Titanic of liability. He's playing the smartest game of 4D chess.
It's unbelievable. And you mentioned that poison pill, which I believe they're saying he can't buy more than 15%, which he owns just over 9%. I mean, he is the largest shareholder. So this is an interesting situation. When he showed that he had bought that April 1st, I believe, actually shares went up, prices went up. So he said if they say no, he can't buy it, that he might actually get out altogether. He's been a little bit coy about that. But if he does get out, I mean, what do you think that this does to the company? I mean, is that a problem for them?
Oh, absolutely. Look, if Elon turns around and bails, this thing's going back to $30 or less, because now you're going to have to start pricing in fears that Elon Musk creates his own social media company. But I wouldn't count this negotiation over yet. I think that's why you're seeing Twitter down today, is people are fearful that, well, Elon said it's best and final. Look, words are just words. And Elon knows if they came back with a reasonable counteroffer, even if it was, say, $60, and it gave him that opportunity to do what he believes is right, which is providing free speech to America, even if that means putting his money on the line to do it, I bet he would take it. So I think it's about a number, not whether or not it's going to actually happen.
Kevin, I got 20 seconds left. Let me ask you this. Speaking of numbers, let's say they come back at whatever number and he says yes. How does he come up with that much cash?
He can either borrow against his existing Tesla stock. Maybe he's already sold some Tesla stock, which is possible. It's been under pressure over the last 6 weeks. Or he would have to sell more Tesla stock. Either of those three options are possible. He could also raise money, but he doesn't want to do that because he wants control with less than 2,000 shareholders. So we'll see. There could be something in between, but ultimately, he'll make it work.
Okay, real quick. Should we be buying more Twitter or selling our stock today?
Yeah, look, I'm not an investor in Twitter. I'm not the biggest fan of Twitter the way it is. If Elon buys it, it stays public, it doubles.
All right. Kevin, appreciate your insight. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, another person who is passionate about free speech is Congressman Ken Buck, and he joins us now. Congressman, welcome to the show. While speaking at TED conference today, Elon Musk said this about the possibility of Twitter's algorithm being open source. Listen to this.
One of the things that I believe Twitter should do is open source the algorithm and make any changes to people's tweets. If they're emphasized or de-emphasized, that action should be made apparent so anyone can see that action has been taken. So there's no sort of behind-the-scenes manipulation, either algorithmically or manually.
Okay, Congressman, if the board allows him to buy this company, how would this actually change standards for social media if we have these type of open source algorithms?
Well, it would revolutionize social media, frankly. The idea that an algorithm would be open and transparent is new, and it's something that the American public, I think, yearns for. I think it is really important that we don't know what happens behind the curtain, and that's what scares a lot of people. We don't know if people are being shadow banned. We don't know if people are being discriminated against. And what Elon Musk is trying to do is to bring all of this out in the open. There may still be some folks that are dangerous in foreign countries that Twitter wants to make sure don't get all of the access to drugs, human trafficking, terrorism, but for the rest of us, we should be on a level playing field.
You know, Congressman, since all of these, one of the byproducts, I guess, is probably the best way to put this, of all these conservatives getting banned over the last year in particular, is the outgrowth of these other companies, of these other platforms, Parler, Getter, Truth Social, right? If Elon joins this or takes over Twitter, does this change the landscape for folks on the right? Because then he would allow more free speech.
Yeah, I think it changes the landscape dramatically. Right now, we have Twitter is the most competitive of the social platforms. Facebook, no one's competing with Facebook. No one's competing with Google. In essence, they both have more than a 90% share of the market. But you can compete with Twitter because the barriers to entry are fairly low. If Elon Musk comes in and offers a great product, he's going to increase the share that Twitter gets and is going to harm some of these other companies. But that's competition, and that's exactly what we want in this particular space.
Congressman, reports now show that Frank James, the man who was arrested yesterday for committing an awful terrorist attack on New York's subway, he was posting videos on social media platforms where he said that he wanted to kill people. Eric Adams, even the mayor of New York, said that James' video should have been reported on social media and that law enforcement should have been informed about these comments that he was making. Do you think something like this, because it is coming from the left, will finally get the attention of social media platforms and the double standard that we do see from censorship?
Well, I think the biggest problem that is readily apparent is that he was arrested, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. He was not imprisoned sufficiently. He should never have been on the street. And so for the mayor of New York to try to point the finger at YouTube, why doesn't he point the finger at his own criminal justice system? The police did their job, the judges didn't do their job, and the correction system didn't do its job. So the problem isn't just YouTube. Should YouTube have done a better job of highlighting a dangerous person? Absolutely. Should all the people that have watched his videos on YouTube done a better job of reporting him as a dangerous person? Absolutely. But New York City is filled with a bunch of soft liberals, and they are responsible for what happened in the subway system. And it's a tragedy, and it's terrible, but it's a result of not enforcing the rule of law.
Congressman Ken Buck, appreciate your insight as always. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, still ahead, the heat is on. Hillary Clinton's former campaign lawyer will be in the hot seat after a federal judge refused to dismiss special counsel John Durham's case against him. The Trump-Russia lies are unraveling. So how high could this go? Our company, Seb Gorka, Tom Fitton, have been on the case since the very beginning, and they're breaking down all that and more when we return. Stay with us.